Grown Folks Production. In the mix. With the commish, Nate.
All right, welcome everybody to Press Pass Live, your weekly OMFL podcast show. And man, I'm excited to jump right into it. There's a lot to talk about, man. The league has got some crazy good teams in the NFC. The AFC is struggling just a little bit. And then if you look at some of the teams trying to find their way, right? The AFC's got like a blob of teams that are trying to compete. Brady's kind of running away with it, whereas the NFC, we'll spit it out, the NFC is really flexing their muscles about the types of teams that they have over there. So let me go ahead and bring this down a few notches so it's not fighting with me nearly as much. But I'm glad that you have decided to join me tonight. We're going to get the words. Words are just not my friend tonight. There's so much going on in my head, and I was just trying to make sure that things are working right, things are looking the way I want them to look, and well, this is where we are right now. But we're going to get through it tonight. We have a ton to talk about. Do me a favor, though. Close the chat. Hit the little X button. Close the chat. Go hit the thumbs up for me. Maybe even hit the share. Share it out to your Twitter. Do us a favor. We're trying to build a subscriptions. We're on our way to 500. We broke 400 a couple of months ago. And so we are ready to roll into the number 500. And you can help us do that. And it's simple. Just hit the like button, hit the share button, reopen the chat. What do words be, Trey? Words be not my friend. That's what words be right now. So, let's get over and get into it, okay? We're going to do a little around the league. We're going to keep the music off for this one. I'm going to start the NFC because I always start the AFC, and I always work my way backwards the way Matt gives it to me, but I'm going to go the other way. I'm just going to hit on one topic. There's multiple topics and multiple divisions, but I'm going to try to identify one that really stuck out to me as we get into this, and then make sure that you hang out. If you did not submit any Press Pass Live questions, if you're not in the OMFL, but you're checking us out for the first time, thank you. Number one, appreciate you being here, but feel free to hang out and ask any questions that you want in chat. And just like with Trey, we're going to throw him up on the screen just like that. So Trey is enjoying that his quarterback, Matthew Stafford, has made it to the OMFL, no, Nate, the real life NFL Super Bowl. Now, a lot of LSU players are being represented in that Super Bowl in just a couple of weeks. So I'm just rooting for a good game. And man, talk about good games. Can we just stop for a moment and talk about the games that we have seen in the NFL this year? The playoffs have been spectacular. It's everything that makes the OMFL. God. See, I'm in OMFL mode, but the NFL, the king of kings, whenever it comes to major league sports, these are the games that you want to watch, right? Even the games today were super close, super tight, came down to just a couple plays, and it has been spectacular. I think everything from that Kansas City Buffalo game is a step down, but it's still pretty darn good. So, Oh, look, I tried to put up trades. Too many either capital letters or exclamation marks, Trey. There was something that got you popped right there. So let's talk about the NFC West. Of course, the king of the hill over here is the Cowboys. But can we stop for just a moment and talk about the San Francisco 49ers? We all knew this was going to happen, but we are seeing it happen right in front of us. And that is our guy, Penguins, multi-time OMFL champion. He has got this 49ers team humming 7-1, 256 points for his team, 179 points against him. He's ranking right up in both of those categories with every team in the NFL or the OMFL. See, now I've got them flip-flopped in my head. I cussed at myself for getting it wrong, and now I'm going to get it wrong the other way. So Penguins and the 49ers are definitely the talk of the town looking at the NFC West, but he's got his work cut out for him, and I know that he's up to the challenge. The NFC East, this one really is about the Eagles. The Giants, the Eagles, the football team, all of them are struggling, but the Eagles are right there pushing the Dallas Cowboys last year for this division. We always talk about the Cardinals. We always talk about the Cowboys. There's some teams that we always talk about, even yours, Trey. We always talk about your team, but the Eagles have struggled this year. They're off to a 2-6 start. Defense has failed them. And in their one game where they seemed to play superb defense, it was against my team, and I'm still really sore about it. And really the question moving forward is which of these three teams are going to finally turn it around and make a run in the NFC East. Then you move to the NFC South, my division. And the question here is, does anyone want to step up and actually challenge Kobe? He just seems to have a pretty easy way to winning the division the last couple of seasons. And I don't know why, but none of us, the Panthers, the Bucks, or myself, can seem to find some consistency this season. Usually the Panthers are right there. The last couple of seasons I've been right there pushing. I've always had very high faith in Twinkie and what he's doing with that team. Now he's had to hit a little bit of the reset button with that cap issue. But you can look at my team. Defense has absolutely failed me. The Panthers have had just kind of an on-again, off-again season. But can one of these teams, the Bucks or the Panthers, step up and make the Falcons actually earn the NFC South this year? It's going to be the big question as we move through it. Looking at the NFC North, Trey, there is your Lions sitting at 7-2, but we always talk about the Lions, and the Lions have owned this division, not like the other guys that we've already talked about tonight. I want to talk about the Vikings and the Bears, and for reverse reasons. Bears, brand new owner. He started to right the ship. A team not built for him, a team that he didn't even know what they were going to play like. They weren't built for his style, and yet he's found a way to begin to turn things around, which is very difficult, taking over a roster that isn't really yours, and especially taking them. I think they were 0-4 or 1-3, something crazy like that. And then I want to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Maniac is one of those teams that goes on streaks, both losing streaks and winning streaks. And I can't put my finger on it. I don't get to watch enough Vikings game to be able to tell you why, but he can't seem to find that consistency. And if this team can get hot, he can definitely give Trey a run for his money. We know that he kind of has Trey's number. At least he did last season or the last couple of seasons with all of these crazy kick returns and just crazy games that Trey and Maniac have had. That's going to be the thing that I look forward to. Are the Bears able to right the ship and make a run here? And can the Vikings get on a hot streak and make a run into the playoffs? Moving over to the AFC now with the AFC West, you got the Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders, and Broncos. And the biggest question that I have here, is this finally the Chiefs' year? We've seen him make a run, get into the playoffs. He's got his favorite team. We know what Kansas City used to be under a couple of different owners, especially Penguins and his multiple championships. But is he able to turn it around and finally make a run? This seems to be the season that can happen. The Chargers are leaving the door open. He's putting up massive offensive numbers. He's giving up terrible defensive numbers. The Raiders are kind of flirting with making a run, and Glaze and his Broncos have just disappeared. They've struggled this season, especially on offense. Only 161 points for his team. That's going to be a massive struggle. So is this their season to make a run? AFC South, again, we talk about Brady and his Jaguars all the time. The real thing that I want to point out is, where is everybody else going? And the biggest thing here for me is the Colts lost a good one. They had an owner who had built that team, got them off to a 4-0 start. They looked like they were going to be one of the top teams in the AFC, running the ball, controlling the game, making you play non-NFL-like, in a way of, like, in the NFL, we want to spread people out, a lot of speed on the field, stretching the ball. And when you played the Colts, they really made you slow it down. They made you play really good run defense, and they controlled the tempo. And that owner left. He transitioned. He's now in a new team. Now we've got a brand new owner for the Colts, and not everybody can play that style. And so the Texans, of course, we know Raj, just medical issues is keeping him away. I really am pulling for you, Raj, and hoping to get a good report from the doctor tomorrow. But where have the Titans gone? 2-7, a team that's usually at 7-2 and making a run. The Titans and Little Koch are off to a tough start. I know that he had like some internet situations. A dog kept eating through an internet line or some craziness. And so maybe it's just the inconsistency from being able to play that has hurt him. The AFC North, you got the Bengals, Steelers, Browns, and Ravens, and this one's an easy one. What happened to the Ravens? I mean, has someone stolen Nipples? Has someone put him in some kind of protection agency? Is his identity being changed? Is he being kept from his PlayStation 5 controller? Where has Nipples gone? 324 points so far. That has been by far the worst defense that we've seen. 151. Probably one of the worst offenses that we have seen. This should not be said about a Nipples-led team. It would be much more expected, I think is the word I'm looking for, to see them at 9-0 than 0-9. And that has just opened up this division. I wanted to talk about Clyde and the Steelers. Can he finally make that run? But the biggest story to me here is the Ravens off to an 0-9 start. And I think that's going to cover all of our divisions. Did we miss anybody? I don't think so. We got through all of them, all of our divisions. And that's going to bring in our very first OMFL news. So as we take a quick break, please enjoy the OMFL news. And if you like it, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, give us a share. And if you're not subscribed, come subscribe. The OMFL is the world's longest online CFM, started in 2001. And this is the kind of stuff that our owners and our people put together so that we can have really great content. Brady, take it away.
What's good, everybody, man? It's your boy Brady Senior, man, giving you the OMFL news after dark. My original file got a little messed up somehow, some way. It turned it into a QuickTime file. Bullshit. Needless to say, I'm trying to quickly record a news for you guys. Hey, we back at it again for another week. Doing it live. And so let's go ahead and run through some power rankings real quick. We're also going to go ahead and talk about players of the week from week 8. But let's jump right into it. Right now, the 1 seed is the Jaguars. 2. What's good, everybody, man? It's your boy Brady Senior, man, giving you the OMFL news after dark. Hey, we back at it again for another week. Doing it live. Hey, we back at it again. Hey, we back at it again for another week. Doing it live. And so let's go ahead and run through some power rankings real quick. We're also going to go ahead and talk about players of the week from week 8. But let's jump right into it. Right now, the 1 seed is the Jaguars. 2, the Cardinals. 3, the Cowboys. The Falcons are number 4. Niners are number 5. Bengals are number 6. Lions are number 7. Chargers are number 8, and the Vikings are number 9, and the Patriots are 10. Those are the top 10 teams right now in the standings, with the Jaguars, the Bengals, and the Chargers and the Patriots are the only 4 teams from the AFC, repping the top 10. And then over at Players of the Week, Offensive Player of the Week went to Joe Mixon, 28 attempts, 149 yards, 3 TDs last week. And then Bosa had Defensive Player of the Week. Joey Bosa had 4 tackles, 2 sacks, no interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. Hit sticking that ass, okay? But yeah, man, hey, we'll be right back after this. Gonna talk about some way too soon postseason standings. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Right back after this. Peace.
All right, thank you, Brady, for the OMFL news. The way that we're using the news now is it's going to be kind of like my version of a commercial. They're going to break up each and every segment that we do, and this is one of my favorite segments right here. I don't do it every single show. We're going to try to do it more and more often, and that is the OMFL Commish Power Rankings. There's some really, really good teams, and this was harder than I thought it would be to kind of decide. I feel like there's so many really, really great teams. They kind of clump together just a little bit, and you're just like splitting hairs trying to determine who you would put above the other one. But this is going to be my top 5. Brady, of course, read off what Daddy Lease believes is the top 10 here. I'd love to hear your top 5. Who are your top 5? Which ones do you agree with? Which ones do you disagree with both Daddy Leagues and myself? Let's bring in number 5. And at number 5, we got Kobe and the Atlanta Falcons. What can you not say about Kobe? The guy has simply won here. He, from day one, has figured out how to win in this league. He's won multiple different ways. You've seen him this year get rid of Felipe, a quarterback that came out of almost nowhere to dominate, and now he's got the superstar, right? And so he's putting superstars on the field, and he is winning, and he is winning big. He's got the Atlanta Falcons rolling at 7-1, and one of my favorite teams here. I shouldn't probably say that. The truth is one of my most hated teams, because I hate having to face him every single season, twice a season. He's so darn good, and he's got the Atlanta Falcons rolling right now at 7-1. Team number 4 is going to be Trey and his Detroit Lions, another team that you could almost say the exact same thing that I said about Kobe, about Trey. He's just done it even longer. He's been to an OMFL Bowl here before. He has dominated on defense. He's made all kinds of crazy plays. I think I seen that your video, I think we played this year. I don't know, this year has been so tough. I've tried to erase it from my memory. But Trey, you and I played this season, and Madden gave you that really stupid interception from your safety, and listening to your clip that you posted made me dislike you just a little bit more. So I owe you one. I gotta come back and get you. But your team is rolling, Trey, and you're my number 4 ranked team in the OMFL. Now we start to really have to split hairs between some of these teams. But team number 3, D-Money and the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona is just a dominant team. We understand who he is, but they're turning into one of those teams that they're regular season champion. What else can you say? Like, he disappears, he takes vacations, he gets kidnapped. I don't know. He picks up a 4th job during the playoffs for extra money. Maybe he's in the concession stands and he just doesn't feel like coaching anymore. D-Money, I still feel like gets bored with winning as much as he wins here, but he has got the number 3 team on this list for me. And this is a very good team. They play extremely well, and it's just hard to knock the Arizona Cardinals. And the reason they are not my number 1 team is, well, he's not the champion. And the reason they're not my number 2 team is because he fades away in the playoffs. And so he's right there with those top dogs. And I think there are going to be some really fun matchups as we continue to wrap up season number 99. Coming in at number 2, we got our guy Dwayne and the Dallas Cowboys. Dwayne is another proverbial winner here. He has always won. He's won in Atlanta. He's now won in Dallas. He does it almost unlike anyone else. He's sort of like a mixture of Winovich and like that really great run game, really strong defense, and like a little bit of Colin, where he'll spread you out from time to time. But he's one of the smartest play callers that I've ever watched, and he's just consistent. He is the most consistent player that we've ever had here. Longevity, winning percentage, not fading away for the playoffs. Like, he's here, he plays games, and he wins. And you can't take any of that from him. But as long as the number one team on my list holds the championship trophy, you can't take him from him. He's undefeated. He's the reigning champion here. You either like him, love him, or you hate him. It doesn't matter. He's got the trophy. He's the guy right now, and you got to give him his props. This team is rocking and rolling, and he does it in all the different ways. He is a very good play caller. He's very good on defense. He puts you in these really tough positions to make plays, and often he'll make you pay for those plays. But those are my top 5. Jaguars at number 1, Dallas Cowboys at number 2, Arizona Cardinals at number 3, Detroit Lions at number 4, and Atlanta Falcons at number 5. Those are my top 5, and I know that Trey gave me his, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at Trey's. Trey has got, let's bring it back up here. Trey has got, I messed it up, 49ers number 1, Jags number 2, Cowboys number 3, Falcons number 4, Cardinals number 5. Interesting, Trey, especially how you've got teams who have losses ahead of teams who are undefeated. Not quite sure how that one works, but everybody has an opportunity to give their opinion here, and I like it because I like that we have a little bit of disagreeing, and I can't argue if there was a blindfold on and you didn't know the records of these teams. You can't argue against the 49ers. I mean, Penguins is playing really great football. I will say, Penguins, if you watch this, you made way too big of a deal with your comments in FPR court. You broke an FPR. It doesn't matter if it was submitted day 1, day 18, or 18 months later. If you broke an FPR, you broke it. Just take it, fix it, we move on. Let's not make a big deal out of it next time. Strength of schedule. I hear you, Trey. But undefeated is still undefeated, and a loss is still a loss, no matter how those are going to break out. All right, let's bring in our questions of the night. Let's see what we've got going here. Oh, we got to bring Brady back for OMFL News number 2. So pay attention to Mr. Brady for OMFL News number 2. We'll come back right back after him with some mailbag, some commishes corner, the last OMFL news with Brady, and then we're going to wrap up the show. I don't know why. Words are struggling with me right now. They always are. That's my struggle. The English language in Madden, because I'm at 2 at 6. But we'll be right back. See? I give up. I need a nap.
Hey, what's good, everybody, man? Welcome back. It's your boy, Brady Sr. Give me the OMFL News After Dark. Gonna drop that volume a little bit. But other than that, man, we doing all right, man. So we rolling. We rolling. Right now, as you can see, my boys are sitting at the lovely 9-0. So my OMFL season is going pretty good. May have a battle tonight. If timing is right, we may have a matchup versus Jason in week 10, and we're going to see. We're going to see what we do. But other than that, man, hey, let's roll into the way too soon playoff race. Let's start with the AFC side. As you know, right now, the 1 seed will be the Jaguars, 2 seed would be the Bengals, 3 seed would be the Chargers, 4 seed would be the Patriots, Colts would be the 5th, Browns would be the 6th, and the Chiefs would be the 7th. So that's the way it's slotted. But if I'm looking at this right, you would have Bengals versus Chiefs. Bengals would be the host team. Chargers versus the Browns. Chargers will host, and then you have the Pats versus the Colts. So that'd be a nice little matchup. And then over on the NFC side, the 1 seed is the Cardinals. The 2 seed is the Cowboys. 3 seed the Falcons. 4 seed the Lions. The 5 seed 49ers. The 6th seed would be the Vikings, and then, of course, the Panthers would be the 7th and final seed. Of course, like I did in the AFC side, Cowboys would host the Panthers, Falcons would host the Vikings, and the Lions would host the 49ers. And then our bubble teams for both divisions would be the Steelers at 8, Jets at 9, Raiders at 10, and then you have the Bucs at 8, Bears at 9, Seahawks at 10. So let me know in the comments what you think, man. Is this going to stay how it is, or will we get some changes towards the end of the season? But again, this is way too soon. Playoff race. But hey, we'll be right back after this, man.
You gotta love our guy Brady. Brady, thank you for doing the OMFL news. All right, let's open up the mailbag. Let's get over to the mailbag and bring in some questions here. We gotta go a little studio mode. Let's do this right here. There we go. All right, let's see if we can get over here and answer. See if we can answer a couple of questions. I know that we've seen my guy Trey had posted. I think D Money had posted. Not D Money. D Wayne had posted. What is this doing? Okay. All right. No. Go back. You're giving me a hard time, and I don't know why. Sorry, fellas. This was all set up, ready to go, and then all of a sudden, this thing decided it was going to do something completely different. Now it should send us to the last page. Now. Okay, it's not. All right. This is terrible. What are you doing? Technology. It's going to make me click through all 19 pages. Okay, that's going to drive me insane. Why won't you let me select? It's like it brings it up and then it goes away. Okay. If you'd just click the buttons, Nate, you'd already be there. So now we got to click through all 19 of these buttons, and this is flipping annoying. This is not what I want to be doing, but we did get a couple of questions, and wow, we can't show it because I've got this up. I was going to go through a couple of these photos. There's some really good photos, and I want to go through them. So if you did not post a question in our mailbag, you can go ahead and post them in chat and copy that over and put it in there a little bit later, and I'll make sure that you get credit for it. We did have one photo that was posted for our snapshots. That's such an easy way to get free incentive points. So if you're looking for a way to get free incentive points, you literally snapped a couple of photos after your game. It saves them automatically with L3. You pull up the form, you type out what those photos were, and then you get free incentive points. And the way that you know you got them is I post here on this little thread that I've been trying to get to for the last 45 minutes. But you just come and submit the form. After that, I'll take them, I'll copy over exactly what we did, like you see here. And where are these questions? I know. All right, team, I apologize, but it's crazy. Give me a second. We're going to have to re-cache this page. Because I know that there were questions. Let's see. This is when I think I need my own tech person to help me out with this. Well, fellas, it's not showing them, and I know I've seen them. And there they are. That was stupid. Really? You're making me log in to see 2 questions? Ugh. Sorry. That took way more longer. Way more longer? That's not a thing. That's not what I'm trying to say, but you know what I'm trying to say. It took way longer than it should have. Trey with the first one. Do you feel the amount of competition in the NFC that it actually hurts them en route to the OMFL? Playing top-end talent reveals a lot about gameplay, giving players the ability to see how players react in certain situations. Trey, I think you're definitely on to something, but I think it even goes a couple layers deeper. But I'm going to stay on your layer and I'll kind of work a couple layers down. I think for the top end players who put in the work, yes, it definitely should. It gives you the ability to see guys when the pressure's on, playing other top end talent. And so you're going to see more of those scenarios that you might face in the playoffs in a big game and see how they possibly could react. Whereas if you're coasting and getting a lot of blowouts, if you're winning a bunch of games where you're not put into those pressure scenarios, then you don't have a lot of film to look at. You don't have a lot of opportunities to see them. I also would tend to debate that I don't know that a lot of people watch film. I don't know that a lot of people put in that kind of time, energy, effort to go and watch exactly what guys are doing in these pressure situations in these big games. And I could play the pros and cons of both. Part of me says that it makes you a better player if you're in the NFC because you're playing that top end talent, which forces you to grow, to put in the work, to get better at your skills, to make better play calls. But it can also be argued, and that is the reason I went with the title. Your question is the reason I went with the title that I went with, is that it squashes a lot of middle to lower end talent who lose the motivation often to push through, to learn the skills, to learn how to play call and GM and build their teams better because it feels like a mountain that can't be crested. You got Kobe, you got Trey, you've got D Money, D Wayne, Penguins. When Bill was here, right? You've got that maniac in the Vikings. You know, you've just got the top end of the top end talent, and that becomes really, really hard to motivate yourself. Of like, I'm going to push through, when you're like, I play all 6 of these guys. Like, I'm going to be 0-6 to start the season. And so I could see both sides of the argument. And that's that layer deeper that I wanted to go, that when you have non-parity, that's why I was pulling for the 2 brand new teams last year to make it into the OMFL Bowl, because I'm, as a commissioner, more than just an owner and a player and somebody's trying to compete for championships himself, but as a commissioner, I'm wanting to see that parity. I'm wanting to see all the teams feel like I have an opportunity, if I stay healthy, if I work at my craft, if I build the right team, to compete for a championship. And when you see the Penguins, it's been a while, but D Waynes, the Bradys, D Moneys, you see these teams go on a string of conference championships, division championships, and championships in the entire league. It just pushes down that parity and raises up the top end of the talent when I'm trying to kind of squish everybody towards the middle, right? I want my sliders and settings to kind of squish people as close to the middle as possible so that there is that parity and so that people are more engaged and people are trying a little bit harder. But really good question that probably has a ton of different perspectives from different guys. D. Wayne has 3 of them. With all the recent owner changes, additions on the OMFL, I think it means to the OMFL, what new owners or team changes excite you or interest you the most? I'm really interested in the Chicago Bears. I think that's Big Hurt now. I could be wrong. Sorry, there was no way I could mute, and I always sneeze like my soul's trying to escape my body. I think that's Big Hurt. No, Big Hurt is in Seattle now. I forget where people are. Who's the Bears? Is it Duval? It is, okay, thank you, Trey. I'm excited to see what Duval can do. It's been a while since he's been here. Very good owner, very good player. Is working on his FPR, but so far no complaints from anybody at all. And so it's interesting to see how he's taking a team that was not built for his skills, and he's bringing something to the forefront with that team. I really want to see what Wynn can do in Miami. That's a team that was built maybe similar to his style, and so I think the learning curve for that team is a lot less steep, and we're already seeing that the record of that team is beginning to turn around. He did go put himself in the line of fire there with the Jaguars, but he may have the opportunity to build a really, really good team. Big Hurt has come in and taken over the Seattle Seahawks. I'm pretty sure I'm right with that, right? And the sucky part is, I'm not sucky because of Big Hurt, but because of Bill, his family situation actually got some really great news. And he's actually back in the deuce looking for a spot for the OMFL. I was like, I could have just put you on auto for a couple of weeks. But anyway, Big Hurt is now taking over some really good teams. There's some good owners in Big Hurt, in Duval, that are going to take some time to rebuild those teams. But we've seen what Penguins did in a short time with his team, and in one off season, he's got that team rolling. So a lot of really good teams. Which teams are underperforming this season that you had high expectations for? That's a good question. Let's look. Right off the back, the Buccaneers. I feel like maybe I'm picking on him a little bit, but the Buccaneers, I've seen that guy play. When he's clicking, he's clicking. He's got a very good team. The cap situation is a bit brutal to kind of handle, but I really like the Buccaneers. I thought that they would be much better than what we're seeing from them right now. I can't really talk about the Seahawks. They went under a bunch of changes. We talked about it in Press Pass Live earlier. The Eagles is sitting at 2-6. You just thought Kevin was going to make just continue to build on that team that he had already built. Seen the Packers at 1-7 after making that, what was he, a 6-0 or 5-0 or something a couple of seasons ago. I don't know what's happened, but it's taken a curve here, and he's just struggling with turning the ball over. And that's a team that I don't know that I expected to be undefeated or pushing for a playoff run, but I thought he'd be closer to 500 than 1-7. The Chargers are a little bit of a surprise to me at 5-4. This division is wide open for him, and he has struggled at certain points, and sitting at 5-4 is just not something I expected to see from this team. All of the teams in this division are a bit of a head scratcher. The Dolphins are the one exception. New owner that swapped halfway. Again, you're already seeing the record begin to turn around for that team. But what's happened to the Patriots? The Jets have started to figure some things out, and then they kind of come back to the pack a little bit. The Colts were at 4-0, owner change. They've been 0-4 since. They're not sitting at 4-4. We talked about them Press Pass Live. Titans at 2-7, not something that I expected to see. Browns at 4-4, not expected to see. And there's no way in the world that I would have believed anybody that tried to tell me that the Ravens were going to be 0-9. There's just no way I would have believed that. Number 3, and this was a good one, and I've been chewing on this one, Wayne, since I read it, but with FPR Court still in the early stages of its inception, it's been around for what now, 5 seasons? Has it brought the dialogue between owners and helped FPR the way that you expected it to? The honest answer is yes and no. Again, guys, put your questions in chat if you're hanging out with us. I'd love to go ahead and get your questions if you were not able to put those into the thread. And we'll make sure that you just got to copy and paste it. I'll make sure that we count it. But yes, on this level. So we'll do the yes first. The yes is that we were getting petty FPR feedback. This past season, we got petty sportsmanship. Yeah, we had several owners in the league giving feedback against guys that they didn't play, which at first inception of sportsmanship, I was okay with that because usually that comes from chat. But the people that were getting dinged, I've never seen things from. And so it felt like it started becoming like, I just don't like you personally. And so guess what? You're getting lesser grade on a sportsmanship. We've seen the same thing happen in FPR. I just don't like you, so I'm giving you a 2. And then we would send messages saying, hey, why are you giving this guy a 2? And there was no, it was like, nothing, just I didn't like this one thing or whatever, right? Nothing that was against FPR. We were getting a lot of 2, well, back then it was 1 through 5. And so we're getting a lot of 4s or 3s, things that didn't need video watching. And oftentimes the owner would put in there, not an FPR break. FPR is for FPR breaks, not for things that you thought were gimmicks or things that you didn't like, or the person, just you didn't like the way they responded to you or whatever. And so FPR court in that way has quit that from happening. Moving from 1 to 5 to 1 to 3 has also just simplified it. Hey, if it was all within FPR, it's a 3. If not, it's a 2. And if it was terrible, it's a 1. But if it's a 1 or a 2, you're going to give us timestamps, and we're going to bring this out in the open. I think that was the other thing that this has accomplished is like, if you're not adult enough to say, hey, that guy broke a rule, and I want to have a conversation about it because I feel like it's something that should be changed, then don't submit it. And in FPR, the way it was done, all the work was on owners, board members like Trey and myself and others. Dwayne has done it many times to watch a lot of film and to build the case. And it's like, we didn't play the games. You got to build your own case. And so in those senses, yes, it has done what I wanted to done. Done what I wanted to done. Done what I wanted to accomplish. Accomplish what I want to accomplish? I don't know. It's too late at night. We've gotten where I wanted to get with it. Less complaints, more. If it's not a real complaint, keep your mouth shut. Let's just keep going. If it is a real complaint, say something. Let's do something about it. Give me some evidence. We'll give both sides to make their case. We come to the middle. We figure it out. And in that way, it has been very successful. Not in the way, I don't think, of the way that you asked this question, are owners talking more. Some people hate FPR court. I don't really care. Smiley, this is the way I'm handling issues. Everyone that I know of that has a problem with FPR court has never been on the other side and had to deal with it. So more than welcome to go play somewhere else or go create your own league and create your own FPR situation. But this is the way I handle it because often it's a 1 or 2 man show, and for the last 2 seasons it's been a 1 man show, and I don't have a lot of time. If someone breaks a rule, you need to go watch your film and either clarify, yep, rule break, I'm submitting it, or no, maybe it wasn't there. And it gives us an opportunity to set the standard for everyone. Say I break a rule against Trey in the old system, he dings me in FPR court. Everybody sees the number at the end of the season, but it's just an average. Nobody sees that Trey dinged me. Trey sends me a message. He broke a rule. I argue with him. We hate each other. We never talk again. In FPR court, if I break a rule against Trey submits it, gives timestamps. Someone gives us both an opportunity to make our cases. A judgment is passed, and that judgment not only works for he and I, but it sets the standard for the entire league. So anyone who comes into that situation now knows what the league expects. Today's thing was a perfect example of quarterbacks dropping back too far. Happened 7 times or 8 times in a game, whatever the number was. There was some things in there that were not FPR breaks, but the dropbacks were easy. Don't do it again. Verbal warning. Everybody says, hey, just a reminder, no FPR court dropback situation. Yeah, I guess they do, but you could also just ignore them. No one makes you click them, I guess. So that's going to do it for the mailbag. Why can't I talk tonight? don't know what the deal is. But a little commishes corner really quick. And then when we come back, we'll go to Brady for last OMFL news. And then when we come back, I'm going to share a little edifying situation. We're going to look through a couple of photos. This right here, I told him, is one of my favorite photos I've ever taken. And even though it's not my team, it's my photo and will probably be my submission of the year. That's just a cool shot to me. Commissions Corner really is about the movement. And I talked about a little bit of this on the last Press Pass Live that didn't go the way I wanted it to, just technical issues. But you can see some of the new stuff has started to come out this week, and it feels like it's working way, way better today. And I've got a couple of things figured out. The movement comes in waves. It always has, probably always will. It is why when owners come to me and say, Nate, I think it's time for me to move on. It's time for me to go do something else. I ask guys, hey, take 24 hours, sleep on it. Even when guys come to me and say family situation, job situation, health situation, I'm like, take 24 and think about it. If we can get creative, let's get creative. I'm open to kind of anything. But it comes in waves, and I don't think it means that we're doing anything wrong. It does give me an opportunity to do some self-reflecting and go, why are we where we are? Why are these things happening? Is there something that can change? And often you can ask the board. I'm willing to have this conversations, though I will say I'm not a hostage, and I will normally let owners walk, and then I'll make changes that maybe they were asking for after if I decide to. But I'm not a hostage, and I won't be held hostage by people's ownership. Equally so, as I tell every owner who decides that they're going to leave here, it's easy to leave. It's way harder to come back, and you're not guaranteed to come back. And I think some of the owners that have left this Madden, and even during the off season before we start, not the off season, but before we moved into Madden 22. It's a cool shot, Maniac. One day we'll want to come back, right? And I've always told this community how I feel. Loyalty speaks the most to me. And so does people who are not loyal, who are not willing to help push through tough situations, tough Maddens, tough seasons, to continue to help us to grow and to thrive. And so none of that has changed, but we got a new crop of owners, some new energy, some new blood, new opportunities for new rivalries, new gameplay, and because of where the deuce is and this whole Madden in general, it's been hard to find enough owners. The deuce, is having to send up guys who may be trying to still figure out FPR, and that's okay. And that's just where we are with this Madden. Yeah, it has done us no favors by giving us a pretty tough game. And so I really do see this as a very good thing. And I love having the new blood, the new people, the new energy. We're seeing some new content. And all of that is really, really good for the league. So stay tuned. Last OMFL news with our buddy Brady, who I see just popped in the chat. What's up, Brady? Thank you for the OMFL news. So we'll come do our last OMFL news, and then we come back from Brady. We're going to wrap up the show.
Hey. What's good, everybody, man? It's your boy Brady Senior. Give me the OMFL news at the dark live. And we getting ready to talk about game of the week. I'm also going to tell you to get over to the grownfolkoc.s. I think I said that right. Website, man, and check out some of the posts that's going on that website. A lot of content being pumped out by me, of course, your boy. But also, there's some other dudes, of course, getting in there and getting their write-ups in. So definitely get over there, man, and check out the goings on the grownfolkoc.s.com website. I think I'm saying it right. I hope I'm saying it right. But anyway, man, moving right into the game of the week, and then we're going to go ahead and get you back over to the Press Pass Live, hosted by Nate. But yeah, Arizona versus Cincinnati was the game of the week this week. And it looks like the Cardinals was able to edge out the Bengals 29-20. Some of the, I guess you could say some of the top players from the Cardinal side was Murray, was 21 for 28, 356 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. Wolford, 19 rushes, 79 yards, no TDs. Hopkins, 10 catches, 177 yards, 0 TDs. And then Simmons had 4 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. We could get them hit sticks in, huh? But anyway, the Bengals fell a little short, but hey, their stars, Burrow, 14 for 20, 202 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Then, of course, you had Mr. Mixon, 10 rushes, 109 yards, and 1 TD. He didn't have that output he did in week 8. And then, of course, Samuel had 4 catches, 70 yards, 1 TD. And then Mr. Bates III had 6 tackles and maybe even some assisting. But hey, man, that was the game of the week. And let me, before we get back over to Nate, man, let me make sure I tell y'all this right. Man. Yeah, it's the grown folks, SOC.com. All right, so it's grown folks with the S, the OC, all together.com. And that'll get you over to the website. It looks like we got a write-up by the Colts. We also got some write-ups here. The coach has also been writing up. We got Nate with the Saints and Sinners. So, yeah, man. Hey, get on over there, man. Check out some of these stories, man. I'm loving some of these images, man, especially mine. Boy, I've been putting in some work. But, hey, I'm out of here, man. Peace. Hey, Jason, I'm coming for that ass, boy. Yeah.
All right. Thank you to our guy Brady for doing that for us, man. I really do appreciate it. And that's going to bring us to the end of our show tonight. It's been good. Things are like working the way that I'm hoping that they're working. We're going to keep tweaking a little bit and fine tuning, but I think so far my computer is happy with things. I think the quality that I've checked out has felt really, really good. And so I appreciate all the hard work. Look, this has been a tough Madden, but we're hanging in there and the content is flowing. FPR feels good overall. And I think with the NFL playoffs, I know a lot of eyes have been on the NFL playoffs. They're coming towards the end of the winter. It's going to be tougher. And people are going to be pulled into the direction going outside and sports and travel and vacations, all that. But we're going to finish strong. And I really think that the USFL is coming out this year in the spring. Madden, these games are some really good games. I'm going to try to call some more games. I've got a couple more things to finish for the new stream before I can call some new games. But I'm excited about the direction that we're going. I'm kind of re-energized about what we're doing, and I'm looking forward to doing some hot seat interviews, getting some more people on camera here. I think it's going to be really, really fun. So I'm going to close out the show with a crick. See, this is what I'm talking about, Brady. Even I can't talk. I don't know what. I'm having strokes, little strokes, where my mouth is way slower than my brain is, and my brain is like 8 steps ahead. Philippians 4:13 was a scripture that I talked about today on my home church 217 live stream. Hook a brother up. I got 53 followers. We're trying to build that thing, man. Come help me out. Give me a subscribe. Even if you're not into it, just hit the subscribe button because you like me. I don't know. Act like you like me. Just come help me out. Home Church 217 on YouTube, website, social media. Come give us a subscribe over there. But on there, I used a very common scripture that we've heard probably a ton of times. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That you have what it takes to find success, to find fulfillment, to find happiness. And yes, life comes at us, and life comes at us fast. I'm reading through Proverbs right now, and I'm just taking chapter a day. And today I read chapter 10, and or chapter 11, and it was one of the most fascinating. I took like 4 pages of notes. Now I have a little notebook, so 4 pages probably isn't a ton, but it's just so full. And in there, it just talks about this: do these things to have a good life, to have a fulfilled life, to live a life of integrity, of purpose, of fulfillment. Like, we all want that. We all want to be successful. in my training of coaches, I tell them all the time, no kid wakes up, no human wakes up going, I'm going to do everything in my power to be unsuccessful today. Everyone wants to be successful. Everyone wants to find fulfillment, and you have everything in you. And when you're in a relationship with Jesus Christ, He gives you the strength. He goes before you. He makes your steps steady. He gives you the foundation to pull out all your passions, to pull out all your dreams, to step into fulfillment and purpose and live a life unlike any other. And if you don't know Him, then I'd love to introduce Him to you one day. Just send me a DM in Discord. We've got a spiritual chat. I'd love to have a conversation with you. It was the single most life-changing decision that I ever made. And every day is a journey. And every day I mess up and every day I make mistakes. But I can do all things in Christ who strengthens me. I pray that encourages you and uplifts you. And so I hope that I just read your comment, Brady. I apologize. I don't know how, but I missed this one right here. That's Roger probably isn't complaining. You never know, especially being in the hospital right now. For those of you who haven't talked to Roger, he had a surgical procedure done. He's tending to be on the mend. He's still in the hospital for a little bit longer. I think he's got a big test tomorrow that he's hoping to get some nice results from. So just be thinking about Roger, praying for him, sending him positive thoughts, vibes. Send him a DM. Let him know that you're thinking about him. I'm sure that he would appreciate it, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me this week. Tell somebody that you love them. Hold them close. Live every day full of purpose, full of fulfillment, walking in the passions that you have for life. It's the best life that we could ever ask for. I can't wait to see you again. There's a lot of new things I got planned. I'm telling you, come hang out with us. OMFL, the longest online CFM in the world, started in 2001. The Grown Folks Online Community, a community for adult gamers. If you're sick of playing with randoms, angry kids, people with no mics, come make friends, come play the games that you play here with a really great group of people. And you can do that by visiting grownfolksoc.com/join us, or just go to grownfolksoc.com. And at the top of the page, you're going to see an opportunity to join us, see all the Madden leagues, the shooter leagues, the other sports games that we play. If you play it, we got a group of people that play it. And here in probably less than a couple of weeks, we're going to probably be kicking back off our WWE league. Just a lot of really fun things. I got some things planned with my streams. Start doing some shorts, some highlights. We got some new shows. Grown Folks Live is going to start coming back. I may even start doing some Grown Folks Live morning shows as you guys are driving to work. I've got all kinds of ideas. I just got to finish up a few more minor things before I can get to it. But I promise you, a lot of cool things are coming. Brady, thank you again for the OMFL news. Guys, I love you. If you like this, close the chat, hit the like button, share it out with your friends, hit the subscribe, come on this journey. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Smash that like and subscribe.